recently during the COVID period, I picked up the manuscript again. I had sort of put it aside all those years, and I picked it up and I thought, well, is this going to be a dated work? Am I really am I on track? Is it really time to bring this out? Things are okay in Pakistan. Things will be okay. Things are okay. Maybe the novel is just dated and I should put it away. So just as I was, thinking about that, I also realized that uh, maybe things have changed, uh, but nevertheless, I need to put this novel in its proper form and polish it and edit it so that whatever I have written, which very much was derived from the situation in Pakistan all those years ago, and was taken. A lot of the incidents that I've used in the novel are literally taken verbatim out of news items about the blasphemy law, about intolerance, about the treatment of the minorities, especially the Christians in Pakistan. And these were taken directly from the Herald and from Newsline and from Dawn. And so I thought, well, it will be a kind of a historical piece of a time that was. And so I put it together, I polished it and edited it. And then I just during the COVID years. And then I thought, well, let me see, maybe. And of course, I was getting news still from Pakistan. Things obviously had not changed that much, it seemed. And so I thought, well, let me send it out now that I worked so hard on it. I sent it out and it was accepted by Speaking Tiger Books in India, in Delhi. They loved the novel. And just as they started work on it. And then again, I was hit by this thought that, I am bringing this out. The novel is going to be out there in the public sphere, and what if it's really dated? And just then, the incident you have just mentioned, in the Jarawala incident happened, and I thought sadly, and I thought also with a sense of satisfaction, in the sense that I felt, okay, the novel is not dated. But it was with sadness that I accepted that fact. And I told my publisher, I said, that I'm sorry, but this is what's happening still. And so in that sense, the novel has remained timeless. It's the story that I tell is, and I say this with with terrible sorrow and sadness, that the story is still the same and very little has changed. So anyway, that is and the novel begins with my interest in what was going on in Pakistan. I've although I've lived here in the United States for 53 years now, I have my relationship with Pakistan has been one of a person who's almost an inhabitant of that country, even though I'm living here, because I used to visit every year. I used to take my children every year. In all these years, I've kept a very close connection. And so it wasn't as if, I was just sitting there after 53 years and thinking back to a time that had happened or been long time ago and tried to tell a story about, something filled with nostalgia. No, it was very much a story of the times that I had been part of in one way or another, either by association, by my relatives, my parents who were living there, by reading about things that were happening, by my very, very close, very, how should I say, really long and kind of, what's the word? again, I have to say, deep relationship with that place, which is Pakistan, and especially Lahore, because I grew up there and I've had connections with that city, and I visited it twice last year. I'm going back again this year. So the story is not one that comes out of nostalgia. It comes out of a need to tell a story of this country, which is a beloved country. So the novel is as much an elegy, a kind of lament for the things that have gone awry in Pakistan and the things that have gone wrong and the terrible things that have happened. And at the same time, it is an ode of love. It is a kind of a poem in which I show how much I love that city. And Arif, the protagonist, becomes every man. He is Pakistan, and he is that part of Pakistan which tries and has tried in the past to fight this awful these awful changes, I should say, that have happened over the years. The intolerance, the treatment of the minorities, the terrible blasphemy law, all of the ways in which we have treated people, the extremism, all of that is Arif represents the element in Pakistan which tries to fight against that. And so this is how the novel has evolved.
Yeah. Thank you for describing that, the whole process that you undertook. And I think it was very clear, like while I was reading it, I've also grown up in Lahore, so we could see that you were, it was your labor of love, a city where you have lived for a while, and you knew that this city is facing this issue, and it is something that needs to be written about. And as you said, that the more things change, the more they stay the same, especially
Mm,
when it comes to religious intolerance. In Pakistan, nothing seems to change, and we keep going back to square one, even when there is some little progress in terms of people who are calling out this wave of intolerance and extremism. There comes another incident, and it sort of sets
mhm,
gives us a reminder that this issue is far from over, and there are very little very little resistance to it.